Now, as we come to agency, it is one of the biggest and the complex of the list. Section 182 to section 238, right? So it's pretty massive, and you can get some real complex questions from here. Now, let's begin with state the meaning of agency and its salient features. What do we mean by agency? This is in reference to question number 1 in agency, right? Now, section 182 states a person employed to do any act for himself, no, for another, or to represent another in dealings with third persons. Now, a person employed to do any act. So, a person, whom are we talking about? We are talking about agent. Employed by some guy who is known as the principal to do any act. Right? I want to sell my piece of land, so I'll deploy an agent who would help me do that. So that is me being the principal. I deployed one Mr. X to sell the piece of land, do an act, right? So yeah, another कौन है? Principal है. A person employed to do any act for another or to represent another. The principal, right, is employed by the principal to do any act or represent in dealings with third person, right? So in dealings with third person, so I can give I'm, let us say, the owner of the company, and to the company I am also one of the agents, right? The director is also an agent, the manager who is managing a branch is also an agent. So agency is a massive thing that takes into account a lot many aspects than we generally see or generally we feel about, right? So there are too many things, too many layers to agency. Now we'll be discussing certain features of agency. Features of agency. Now, first thing that I would like to discuss about agency, the basic essence, the essence of the term agency, as we learned from the above definition, is that the principle is bound by the acts of the agent and is answerable to third parties, right? This is the main premise of agency, that principle is bound by the acts of the agent. This is one of the basic feature which differs There are a lot of them. This is one of the basic and the most important difference between a servant and an agent. A servant cannot bind you. Your servant cannot sell your car, but your agent, who is given the authority to sell the car, can, right? So over here, if there is an agent, see, if the bank manager signs and passes a loan, the bank is obviously going to give you the loan. So the bank manager is the agent. So he binds the bank, the separate legal entity, to you, right? So he binds his principal to the third party. That is what differentiates an agent from any other person. Why we require agents in today's world? So see, a person cannot attend all his business course, so he requires agent to actually connect him to the third parties. Let us say if I have 5 different businesses, so my agent helps me to connect to different third parties and help me expand and run my business in a smooth manner. That is why we require agent. So this is one of the basic essence when we write about features of agency. Now, apart from this, few things that I would like to put across over here is section 183, basic features of agency. So 183 talks about who can be a principal. Does a principal require capacity to do contract? The answer is yes. A person capable of contracting can appoint an agent. So as we have learned in our foundation that there are 3 basic things for capability to contract. One, the person should be a major. Second, he should be of sound mind. And third, he should not be disqualified by law. So a person who is capable of contracting can appoint an agent. So that is very, very important. So a minor, a person of unsound mind, or one who is disqualified by law, cannot appoint an agent. He cannot become a principal, in short. So that is one thing that you have to keep in mind. Section 184. Now this discusses about who can be an agent. Who can be an agent? The answer is very weird. Answer is any person can be an agent. Sir, can minor be an agent? Yes. Can a person of unsound mind be an agent? Yes. Can a person disqualified by law be an agent? Yes. So that is pretty very dicey to discuss over here, but वही तो मजा है agency का, right? So any person can be appointed as an agent, but the problem over here that is discussed, very important thing, that such person who are not capable of contracting can technically also become an agent. See, basically what's happening, the principal is entering into a contract with third party. An agent is merely a catalyst. So over here, this guy is a catalyst. That's why the law says, as per section 184, who has the authority to contract, not capacity to contract. Who has the authority to contract? Any person, right? So you can authorize any person. But one thing that I would like to state over here is, if a person is not capable of contracting, a person is not capable of contracting, he can still be appointed as an agent, but is not liable to the principal for any loss caused to principal due to negligence or lack of skill of such person, right? So you can appoint even a minor as an agent. The very dangerous part is these guys are not liable to the principal for any loss caused to the principal due to the negligence or lack of skill of such a person, right? Now let us take up an example over here. Sir appoints an agent, say Mr. Lucky. Sir appoints an agent, Mr. Lucky. Lucky is, let us say, a major, sound mind, all fine. Right? Let us assume that. Now, Sir appoints Mr. Lucky, and Sir says that sell my watch for 7,000 rupees. This guy sells it at rupees 5,000. So, did he go against my instructions? Do I incur a loss of 2,000 due to this fellow? Yes. Can I claim it from him? Yes. So, Sir can claim, right? But on the other hand, if this guy is not a major, he is a minor, then what will be the answer? Will the answer change? Yes, the answer would change. Sir can claim, answer cancel हो जाएगा. Sir cannot claim, यहाँ answer आ जाएगा sir cannot claim. So over here, claim and not claim is with respect to the agent Mr. Lucky. He may have sold it to some Mr. X, right? Worst part of the story is, under both the scenarios, whether he's a major or a minor, nothing can be done. I cannot get the goods from the third party, so Mr. X has the better title over the goods, right? In first case, if he's a major, I can claim a certain difference of 2,000. But if he's a minor, then जैसे हमने सीखा यहाँ आगे, that he is not liable to the principal for any loss caused to the principal due to his negligence or lack of skill, right? So appointing such minor can be a dangerous proposition for the principal. Now going ahead, that is about 184. Now 185. No consideration is required to create agency. A lot of people misinterpret. यहाँ सबसे important word कौन सा है भाई? Create, right? So let us say Sir appoints Janvi to sell a piece of land. So Janvi is my agent over here. So do I need to pay her anything? The answer is no. There is no consideration required for creation of agency. But if Janvi is able to sell the piece of land, and she claim money? Yes. So if any work is done, under the contract of agency, remuneration consideration can be claimed, has to be claimed, right? but for the purpose of creation of agency, there's no consideration that is required to be given, right? So these are some of the basics, features or salient features of the contract of agency. Right. So we'll just recap it very quickly. That a person employed to do an act for another or to represent another in dealings with the third party is termed as an agent. So it's basically the definition of agency, wherein a person is deployed to do certain work, right, for the other guy, that is the principal, and deal with the third parties. Feature is the essence of agency. I would like to again focus on this one. The essence of agency is that the principle, see, you would have done partnership act in foundation or CPT, whatever you studied. So one thing that we have kept in mind when we study the rules of partnership is one of the most important thing is that they are mutual agents. So to establish the very premise that whether a congregation of person or association of person is a partnership firm, then we have to check the doctrine of mutual agency. If one guy acts and he binds all of them, right, if any of them is acting and he binds all of them, we call it the rule of mutual agency. So agency is all about binding, right? So यहाँ उसीलिए bound word use किया है, देखो, is that the principle is bound by the acts of the agent, right, and the principle is answerable to third parties for the acts of the agent. So that is a very decisive thing that we have to talk about when we are writing answer. Now, who can be a principal? Who can be a principal? A person capable of contracting can be a principal. Who can be an agent? Any person. But if you deploy a person, the struggle is very real with this keyboard. So if any person who is not capable of contracting, right, he can still become an agent, but the problem over here is he would not be liable in case of any sort of negligence that is done by him. Now going on to 185, do we require consideration for the purpose of creation of agency? My answer is a clear cut no. You do not require any consideration to create agency, but if any work is done under the contract of agency, yes, we need to pay consideration.